Okay.
There it is.
All right. Hi, Michael. So grateful to be here with you. And welcome, everybody, to today's show. I am so curious to learn from you, Michael. What
Here with you.
inspired? And welcome, everybody, to
Just
today's
mute that.
show. Yeah.
There
Okay.
you go.
So clearly, I'm a newbie at this, and this is okay because you got to start somewhere, right? So
Wow, I'm so honored to be your first. That's great.
well, thanks. You inspired this, right? A few weeks ago, you were here for a post-conference highlights tour event that I was
Yeah.
doing at the LifeWave Welcome Center, and you said, "Hey, we should do a show together sometime." So here is that sometime. So
Yeah,
anyway,
I mean, I was very impressed by your presentation. I was like, we got to do something live. You got a lot of talent. So I think you're gonna inspire a lot of people going forward. So yeah, so happy to be here and share with you. It's great.
well, thank you. And would you mind starting off with sharing with us what got you started with LifeWave?
Absolutely. Yeah, so I'd heard about LifeWave when I was in the CIA. In fact, one of my buddies from SEAL Team Six was out there. This was during the time frame where we were almost going to get Osama bin Laden. So my old SEAL Team, SEAL Team Six, one of their operational chiefs was out, and I was talking to him. I was actually in the CIA. I helped find Osama bin Laden, and so I'm talking to him, and he was telling, we're just catching up, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we're using this new product. It's basically stimulates your energy. You get energy for 12 hours. It's an energy patch, and it instantly converts your fat to energy. You don't have to work out. You can just be standing there, and it's burning calories and so forth." I was like, "Wow, that's incredible." And do you have any? It's like, "No, I don't have any." And you know how these projects are. Only a few people get to use them. I'm like, yeah, totally missed out on that. But too bad. So fast forward another, I say, 15 years, maybe 20. I'm at an event. I do events where I teach people how to remote view and remote influence and stuff, so forth. So, one of the attendees came up to me, Jennifer Allen, and she said, "Hey, have you ever heard about this patch, LifeWave?" And I have like dozens of people constantly, coming at me with all kind of products. And I'm like, "Nah, I don't know." And so she's like, "Well, it started in the Navy SEAL teams." I'm like, and I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, here's the article on it, and I'll give you a few patches, and you can try it." So the energy patch, I used those for a couple days, and so I'm really tuned in to energy. You can tell I'm like I got a lot of energy, and I have the patches on right now actually, and so I like my energy smooth and constant. So a lot of energy drinks and so forth, or like you feel like you got too much caffeine or something like that. You're like you're yoked, and it's like but they give you a good workout. So I use all kinds of different products over the years. So when I used the energy patch, the energy was very smooth and was constant. It was like I could keep tapping it. I'd push myself, and I'm like, well, normally I would need some kind of stimulation to keep going, but I was like, let's keep going, and I just kept going, kept going, kept going. And I know that Olympic athletes had used it. The world's strongest man had used it. So I'm like, I'm gonna use this now because it's really working. So I looked at all the other patches, and I read up on them. I saw that X39 stimulates the stem cells, which start to decrease and after you're born, so they start to decrease. So as you get older, there's less and less and less used, but this actually stimulates it. And I'm like, I got to try all this stuff. So that's where I'm at right now. I try everything. I love all the products. When I was in the SEAL teams, my kneecap was shattered, and they pinned it back together. And it's like you're never gonna walk normal again. Of course, 6 months later, I'm running and completing the Navy SEAL test. Every 6 months, you got to do a performance test, and I did it outstanding, just like it always done. So
Incredible.
I had pain in that knee over the years, and it started to get more and more. It
Mhm.
would act up, and it'd act up for days and sometimes weeks, and so it was acting up. And there's like this uh, technology that's called Ice Wave. And it's supposed to do away with pain. So I like put the brown one where the most pain was and took the white one and circled around like you're supposed to and found the next most painful spot. It was on there, I would say maybe 5 to 10 seconds. and the pain went away. And I'm like, what? And so I'm like, I'm going to work out and see what happens. So I worked out. 12 hours later, took the patch off. I'm like, wow, that was absolutely amazing. I did not have pain in that knee again, I think for a year and a half. And then
Wow.
I used the ice wave on it again. It's gone. But you know, the other technology, because I've been using the patches for years.
Mhm.
And because of that, I think the stem cell stimulation, it builds in your system. You're basically reversing the aging, not just stopping the aging process, but reversing it. And that's what is amazing about these products. David Schmidt, I've met him, been to his laboratory. I'm like, this guy is like, he's Tesla, and we're getting his products. Tesla, they hid them from us and they used them against us in some cases. But with David Schmidt's products, we're actually benefiting from them. It's absolutely amazing.
That is incredible. Well, I know for me, I had amazing results. And we know, you and I both know that not everybody notices anything necessarily right away. Some of us, though, are what we call one patch wonders. And it
Right.
sounds like you had immediate results with the energy patches.
Yeah.
Um, One of the questions I do have for you with regards to the energy patches, it's one of those, it's a patch that I haven't personally tried myself yet,
Mm.
but even though you're burning more calories, do you find that your appetite though goes up? So there's so many people out there that are looking for ways to drop some excess weight in a healthy way. But I'm just wondering, okay,
Yeah. So just putting the patch on, you're burning over 500 calories without doing anything. So that's nice. But for me, I haven't noticed an appetite. In fact, I'm actually losing weight. Uh, I can put on weight because I'm a bodybuilder. I know how to put weight on. I know how to take it off.
okay,
There's patches that you use, SP6. They've helped me. Carnosine has helped me basically keep my appetite low, uh, and also helped me to burn more calories. And once I burn those calories, to recover a lot faster. I did a last year, after 5 years after having done the most weight that I ever done in my life, which was 1,000 pound leg press before I did a bodybuilding contest.
pound, pound.
Yeah,
Oh,
1,000 pounds. I always wanted to hit that, and I worked up to it. And while I was doing that, I actually lost. I was losing weight, which is very unusual when you're doing exceptional weight like that. You're usually putting on the weight. So anyway, I was decreasing, and anyway, 5 years later,
mhm.
I'd kind of like fallen off of working out because of, COVID, a couple of years of COVID, because I lived in California. We couldn't even go to the gym. So I left and went to Florida, and then I started working out again, got back into it. So I did a 1,150 pound leg press. And the only thing that was different was using the patches. So I believe that using X39 had basically stimulated my stem cells to the point where it took me back in time, like I talked about, and even made me better than ever before in my life. So these are the amazing things you get from it. So yeah, the energy patch. I was getting my teeth cleaned today, and I was talking to the dental hygienist, and I was telling her I was going to an event down in Phoenix, Arizona next month. And she was like, "Well, what are you going to do?" I was like, "I've got a LifeWave event down there. It's basically business builder. I'm going down there to hang out and learn some more about the business." And she asked me about the patches, and I told her just like I told you about the energy patches. She's like, "Oh, I got to try those. All right, I do the energy drinks, and I'm like, oh, I can't do the energy drinks because I'm working on people's mouths." So I was like, "Yeah, it's very smooth, very easy, but you have the energy, it's constant." So there's many different ways you can use the energy patches. The energy patches can also move energy, just like the ice wave. If you're having energy that's stuck, of pain and so forth, the energy patch, we have what's called a hat protocol, and we put the patches in a hat with eon and glutathione. And it basically stimulates the energy so that you can overcome headaches and all kind of crazy stuff that's going on in your brain. A lot of people have used it. So there's many different ways to move energy, and that's what these patches are all about. So the energy enhancer is fantastic.
Yeah, I love it. I have found that my energy has even improved with the use of, I initially started off with X39 and
Mhm.
Aeon.
Yeah.
And I found that prior to starting the use of patches back in May 28th, actually, it was my first day using the patches. And I was having to take a nap by noon on a daily basis at
Mhm.
that point in my life. I had um, so had developed significant amount of adrenal stuff going on in my body that just was throwing my hormones and everything off. And that first day I used the patch and gonna kind of go off on a tangent, but I feel like it's partly what allowed me to get deeper rest. Um, I that first night, as I was sharing with you at another time when we were having a conversation, was that first night I went up to my room to do my nighttime routine. And I was like, I never had a name for the just the constant like commanding voice in my head until that night. But
Mhm.
I named it the drill sergeant. I was like, the drill sergeant is gone. I'm like, I'm having a different experience inside this body of mine. Where before I used to feel like it would be like the end of the day and be like, you got this to do, this to do, this to do, this to do. Like, and I was never enough. And I got up to my bedroom and I was like, I feel relaxed. I feel at ease. I still am going to do the same things. And I slept so much better.
Mhm.
And so I think a lot of that, well, that drill sergeant voice I talked about came from my early childhood abuse that I endured because that which fires together wires together, right? So I had been living for nearly 50 years of my life in protection mode. Like I couldn't be in connection mode as much because I was so concerned about protecting myself. And so I'm seeing a shift in my relationships with people, with food, with time, with everything. And so if I just would love to be able to reach people that have struggled the way I have because it's not an easy life recovering from some of those hard things. I'm sure, given your background, you've experienced a significant amount of traumatic events as well. And I don't know if you have anything you can speak to that's you feel like has shifted in regards to.
Oh yeah, the Eon patch, like you're talking about, is definitely great for the mind, getting the neurons back in sync. There's been a lot of people. Lynn Hagerman has talked about how she was part of a university experiment when she was a child where she was abused, and the Eon patch. So she was watching me one day and she's like, "Get this, you need to like start using these." And so she started using the patches, and the Eon patch basically, like you're talking about, overcame a lot of the childhood trauma that she had. And I know you work with women like that. That's incredible. That's really good. But for me, uh, I would say it's helped me quite a bit as far as like keeping very centered. Uh, After 35 years of 24 years in the SEAL teams at the highest levels, and then 11 years in the CIA at the highest levels in combat zones. I had some pretty good PTSD,
Mhm.
which for me, the best thing for me to do is get out in nature, and I did that one time where I walked the Pacific Crest Trail for like I think it was almost 4 months, and covered like over 2,000 miles. So for me, doing extreme physical activity and so forth is really, really good. Now, with the Eon patch, it also reduces inflammation. So for me, I like to overcome, you know, my mind. So all of us have these things that we've encountered over the years. For me, as you can imagine, all the combat that I've seen and the death and destruction and so forth, it does have a very negative effect on the mind. So
Mhm.
you're living with that. You're working to overcome that. I feel that the Eon patch, like you said, you use X39 Eon. I think those are two fantastic patches. One, because X39 is like the mother of everything. Better
Yeah.
sleep, stimulating the stem cells, overcoming injuries very quickly, and stimulating so you have more energy along with the energy patch. But if you want to just do X39, that's the one we always recommend to everyone. So between those two patches, I feel like they have calmed my mind and focused my mind in a way that never before has happened. And after being here, I'm in Lake Tahoe right now. That's one of the places where I like to go. I like the beach and I like the mountains. So if I'm in one of those places, it usually calms me, keeps me meditative in that good state of mind. But if not, then I have to work out really super hard because that it just exhausts my mind, and then I can handle the stress. So I get rid of stress by stressing my body, and the Eon patch, is it basically reduces inflammation. So I'm hammering my body, and the Eon patches is keeping the inflammation down, and it's stimulating the neurons in the brain. So I get the benefit of both. I'm stimulating myself to overcome stress, and then I have something to keep the results of when you stimulate yourself sometimes overstimulate yourself, like doing 1,150-pound leg presses. That inflammation is kept at bay, and you're not a lot of times after a super heavy workout, like I just did one, and I'm super calm. And as you guys can tell, I'm articulate. Now, if I didn't have, and I wear the Eon, I have the X39 on right now and X49. If I wasn't wearing those, I'm a little scattered. I've noticed that. As I started to age, it got worse. But now all of that's reversing. So yeah, the Eon, X39 and X49, I think are a great combination. And you wear the X39, X49 during the day, and at night you wear the Eon, and so you get the benefits. 24 hours of great, great brain activity, great activity in your body, and if you're pushing yourself like I do, or you push yourself in your job, we a lot of people have a lot of stress in their job. You don't have to go work out. You got it in your job. But for me, I reduce stress by working out, wherever that stress comes from. Where it comes from a job, which I'm kind of focused on LifeWave now. That's my job, which I don't call it a job. It's my love. But there are ways that you can overcome this stuff, and the benefits of the patches are phenomenal. I would say it's the best thing that I've ever used by far. Nothing else compares ever to the patches.
I would have to agree with you. I felt I had been with another company for nearly 13 years, and it was as though I called it a heart transplant. And I felt as though God said, "This is where I need you now.
Mm,
You have served your time well and where you've been, but this is where I need you. This is where you can actually impact more lives for the greater good because of the simplicity of applying a patch. You don't have to worry about drug to drug interactions. You don't have to worry about side effects, any side effects that do happen, right? Typically, it's your body eliminating toxins that have built up, and that might be uncomfortable, but I don't really put it in the category of side effects. It's a byproduct, or I don't know, maybe you have a better word for it, but yeah, so I'm a registered nurse. I do keep my nursing license. I have not practiced in the hospital setting or doctor's office since 2009 because I like to help people understand that if we, adjust our lifestyle and implement tools like the patches, we can actually stay healthier
mhm.
and live a higher quality life than we can if we just try to silence the alarm, so to speak, or throw a band-aid on things. It's so much more effective and affordable long term. So I can't emphasize enough the value of living a healthy lifestyle and the changes that my brain has gone through in just what, May? So the month of June, July, August, September, October. So we're 5.5 months into wearing the patch, and my mental agility has definitely improved. I never could before. I really struggled with being on a Zoom and being able to write something in the chat before
Mm,
because I couldn't listen I couldn't have the sound. Like I would have to mute the Zoom, type my thing, and then unmute it because my brain couldn't handle it.
Wow.
So maybe there's a listener out there that can relate to that. And it's such a relief to feel like there's another higher way, shall we say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember when I did my first YouTube, it was quite a long time ago. I think live one, because I would record on Zoom and then I'd upload it. But a live one is the best. So I couldn't figure out how to do it. Like you hit mute. I never could. It took me a long time to figure it out, so I just didn't do it. So eventually, I was like, I would did the live, and I was like, somebody said you hit the mute, and I was like, what? It's that easy? So I went in and did. I started a live, and it was like talking like we heard in the beginning, and I hit mute, and it was like, that's it. That's it. It's that easy. And some things in life are that easy. How long does it take you to put the patch on? I put the patches on in the morning. It
Yeah.
takes me 10 seconds. I peel off the back and put them on. It's like it's done. And then it's like I feel like invigorated after I put the patches on. Now, a lot of people are like, I got to do coffee and get going. I put the patches on. I'm ready to rock and roll. It's incredible. And then I go out and start doing the other things that I do, like in the morning, and then eventually go work out. But it is quite amazing how easy some things in life are. We just make it difficult. So the patches I think are one of the most. It's the easiest thing that you can do. You take them off at night, then you put on your night patches, and you get up in the morning at 12 after 12 hours. You take those patches off. So you brush your teeth and go on and you do the rest of your day. So super super easy doing the patches and having a more refined and more invigorated life.
Yeah. So, what are some other things that you've personally noticed change physically, mentally, emotionally for you? I know for me, right, I shared with you my brain, my sleep, my also my feet. I wish I had taken pictures of the bottoms of my feet. My feet were so callous. I'm like you. I did exercise to if I couldn't be at the mountains or the ocean, I did 7 marathons while I was in college because that was my outlet, right? And my
Mm.
feet were really calloused, and I live in Utah, and my heels were cracked. And I was like, I wish I had taken a picture of my feet because they're so soft. Those little stem cells, my understanding is they go in and they break down scar tissue and so forth and slough it away. And anyhow, I think it's so fun to hear what shifts other people are experiencing because you and I know that the stem cells are going to go where they're most needed to save your life, right? So everybody has different priorities.
Yeah, I think one of the funniest ones, and it's it's indicative of what happens to a lot of people that use LifeWave. You look younger over time.
Mhm.
So I'm on YouTube quite a bit. I've had hundreds of thousands of subscribers over the years, and in different capacities. YouTube used to take me down. I'd build another channel because I do some controversial stuff on YouTube. So uh, with that controversy comes people that will say mean things sometimes. So I'm doing these shows, and there was a time where a lot of us were being attacked for different reasons, and somebody said that I was obviously replaced, and I was a clone because I mean, look at him, look at this picture. They have a picture of me like a couple of years ago, and a picture of me recent at that time, and I look a lot younger, and like a lot younger. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize that. Yeah, I would probably say something like that too. But that's one of the things that I've noticed, and I've noticed it in other people as well. And somebody said I do shows every Monday. It's called a Miracle Monday, and I somebody came in the show and they're like commenting how everybody that's in there that's been using patches, it's like everyone has light. You can tell they're not dead. They're living dead. They're light beings, and that's true because you're activating the light within. And that's a beautiful thing about these patches too, because it's not just It's not just a patch to get well. It's not just a Band-Aid. It's not just a, you want a little bit more energy. It's something a lot greater. And that's why the two of us are passionate about it, because we can see, all the results from all these different people. I've had thousands of people that have commented on my Miracle Monday show at this point after over 2 years of doing it. It's absolutely, I love to do that show because there's all these people come in with these incredible miracles that they've experienced, and it's so inspiring. And it's like once you see that, or once I've experienced that, because I have miracles myself, uh, you're just like, I have to share this with the world. That's like it's such a gift. It's a gift to the world, I think. And
I agree.
yeah, so many different things. So you talk about running. When I did the Pacific Crest Trail, like I was telling you, I lost all my toenails,
Oh,
and
ouch.
it sounds painful, but it's maybe some of them were, but yeah, I just noticed I don't have any more toenails. And it's like I still could walk. It wasn't painful to walk. Maybe being a Navy SEAL and having, overcome a lot of pain. I was just like, oh, it's another pain. And my body just like, oh, keep going. So, it was, some of them started to grow back, but when I started using the patch, just one of those things, you just keep using it and one day you're like, I have all my toenails again. And they're all perfect. And not only that, my nails are growing like crazy. So everything's like super healthy. So it's just one of those things that your body is going to focus on that needs the help. So many of us some people come in, they don't recognize what it's doing for them right away. And that's understandable. Not everybody's tapped into the energy and the, vibrations and all these different things that, I've been fortunate to tap into over time. Another thing that it's helped me with is my focus. So as a remote viewer and a remote influencer, my focus is much faster and more precise, and the things that I see are much better. So like we were talking about the brain. So you talk about how the brain has been, helped quite a bit right away. Those that have, pushed our brains to another level, it helps us in those other levels as well. So pretty impressive stuff. Many,
Yeah.
many, many different things. I could go on and on all day. So
Right. So could I. And, I get really sad when I hear people decide that they're like, oh, I'm not noticing and this doesn't work for me and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, it is working. Like, this is why I ask people, like, are you committed to giving this a month for every decade you are old if are relatively healthy, and maybe even 2 to 3 months per every decade of your age if you've got some critical chronic issues going on? Because you and we're not here to sell someone a patch. We're here to help people get to the end results that they desire, right?
beautiful. Yep.
And I'm so curious when a good friend of yours decides that they're going to stop using the patch because it doesn't work, quote unquote, they think. We know that the patch works 100% of the time because as long as you're alive, we have an infrared light that is bouncing right off of the contents of the patch and sending a wavelength back in. It's not like you can block that wavelength, just like you can't block the sun. The sun is going to come up, right? No
Yeah.
matter what you do. So what do you do to try to help your friends that you love continue until they can get to the results they want, and then they'll know that just like brushing their teeth, they're going to want to use it every day.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Yeah. Would you stop brushing your teeth? Your teeth were clean, that your teeth are clean, so you don't need to do it anymore. You're clean, so you don't need to take a bath anymore. So you take vitamins, but you've taken them one day and you're healthy, so you don't need to take them anymore. So it's kind of the same thing with the patches. Over time, you're going to start to recognize all the different things that are happening for, like, we both been describing. You're a little bit new to it, but
Yeah.
for me, after having been on it for 3 years, I can tell you it's consistent, more and more and more things that are being improved, over time. Injuries, when I do get an injury, which is rare now, it recovers unbelievably fast, faster than at any time in my life. Even when I was a young Navy SEAL, 25 stud dog, I get injured and it would take
Right.
time for it to heal. Uh, I get injured if, like, again, if I get injured now, it's like bam, it's like recovered like faster than ever before. So I'm at a level now in my physicality where I'm better than ever at probably any point in my life. So I'm pushing the envelope more and more and more, like that leg press. I did. There's this one band where you can. It's like these bands, these rubber bands are like super high speed, and you take them. They're like you can barely move them. So I put them on a bar and I put them around me, and there's a measuring device on it which digitally records how much you're pressing.
Mm-hmm.
And these bands, you can get thicker bands, and they're different levels and so forth. So I got the heaviest, hardest band to move. And I remember when I first did it, I could barely get it out there, And then eventually, working with it, I got it to the point where I could press it all the way out. So when I got the digital device, which basically records how much you're pressing, it was almost 700 pounds of pressure that I was pushing. And that's some of the things that I've realized, over time,
Uh-huh.
that your body, uh, your brain, first of all, and that's interesting too. I was talking about this with the woman that was working on my teeth today, the hygienist. She was like, I've seen this show. Have you ever seen this show where it has all these special forces guys and they put people through all this stuff? And she didn't know that I was a Navy SEAL. I don't even know if she does now, but I was saying, no, I haven't seen that. And she was telling me about it, and I was like, oh yeah, I did the waterboard one time. They pushed me through this one training where you learn to resist. So you get captured, and they put you through these tortures, and one of them is a waterboard. So I saw all these. There's like 200 guys. They were in this class. Most of them were aviators. It was like me and one other SEAL. And so they had this thing called a waterboard where you're at an angle down, and they take a like a cheesecloth and put it over your nose and mouth, and they pour water on there, and people would freak out. I've never seen anyone freak out like I've saw these people freaking out. And I was like, wow, that's pretty intense. So eventually they called me up. It's like, Jago, come up here and get on the waterboard. I was like, oh, here we go. And so I'm a pretty cool, calm and cool guy, right? So I know how to work through problems, and that's what I was telling her. So the brain is unbelievable. It can work through problems if you allow it.
Mhm.
So they put me in that position, and so I learned later there's no way you can drown because your lungs are higher than your mouth. So the water comes in your mouth, and you can't breathe in air through that, of course. For me, being a Navy SEAL and holding my breath, all the stuff that we do, and having regulators that kind of like leak, you learn how to like breathe around, water in your mouth and so forth.
Wow.
So they put it on there. They pour the water. They're pouring the water, pouring it, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting. It's like I can wait a long time. I can hold my breath a long time. So then they go and get more water, and I went. I blew out. So it blew enough air or blew out enough water so that when I sucked back in, it sucked a little bit of water in my mouth, but it sucked in a lot more oxygen. And so I just waited with that water in my mouth, and they poured and poured and poured, and they went back to get some more, and I, exhaled out again through the cheesecloth and sucked in. So I just kept that up, kept it up, get up, and everybody's watching because everybody would watch someone go on the waterboard. And everybody's like, "Oh my God!" So everybody's watching. They're eating, and I'm pissed because I'm missing the meal and I'm on the waterboard because they starved you the whole time. So, and as a Navy SEAL, you're like, you can eat all day long and still lose weight. So, I'm like, they're whispering in my ears, like, because they wanted everybody to be traumatized, while you're going through this prison work training. So you'll talk, and I never did. I never talked, and so the guy got down on my ear, and he's like, "You'd better start screaming, or we're going to make this really bad." So I was like, So I gave him a show. But later, when we're being debriefed, and I was telling this hygienist this, and they're asking who who was the guy that broke the waterboard, and I'm like, broke the waterboard. What do you mean by that? I'm thinking this in my mind, and I'm looking around. So who broke the waterboard? What did they like go and like stomp on it and break it? That's what going in my mind. And then, is one of you SEALs. And so I looked over at my buddy and he's like, and I'm like, and then he finally goes, "It was you." And he pointed at me. Uh, Usually once every 10 years, and they have like 50 classes a year or something crazy. Not 50, but probably about 40 because it's about a 2 week course.
Yeah.
So, and they overlap sometimes, but uh, so they've had tens, 100,000 people go through this course, in a 10-year period. And they're like, we usually have like one person that beats the waterboard, breaks the waterboard every 10 years. And I was like, wow. So from that point, I was like, well, my mind in a very traumatic situation can work through, these issues. And that's what I think that all of us, have the capacity for. And I feel like you found and Lynn Scott and many other people have found that over time you learn the calmness and you're able to overcome incredible challenges, even like in your past where you were absolutely traumatized and you had this drill sergeant in your mind always hammering at you, and then it just went quiet. So that's a beauty, I think. You don't have to go through Navy SEAL training or prison work camp training to get these incredible benefits from the mind. You can start to focus your mind, and with the patches, I believe it helps you much better. I've seen this with a lot of people, so that's another reason why I love the patches and I promote the patches so much. Their benefits are tremendous, beyond what most people can comprehend.
Well, I am so grateful that you invited us to do a show together, invited me to do a show with you. And I think that we have a lot more to offer our viewers down the road. And I want to say thank you
Absolutely.
to our viewers. And in the description field, there is a link to get in touch. I can point you in the direction of the Monday Miracle Show. I can also, there's also my website if you want to, look around in there. It has a nice, I call it an educational scroll. Just don't hit the get started button. Best to reach back to me. Um, and Michael, is there anything else that you'd like to add before we close?
Yeah, I would highly recommend you guys hook up with Ali. So she's got incredible experience, like she talked about, in this field. I think she's going to do amazing things, and I know she works with people exceptionally well. So you would be very well served by joining with Ali and getting her insights, and she would help you quite a lot. So
And they'd be part of our team, right? Because you're part of my
bigger
dynamic
team, yeah, we're part of a
line,
bigger team,
right? And
absolutely.
we're
Yep.
stronger together.
I'm
So,
here to support you, and
and
I
likewise.
love to see your work, and so I hope that people get involved with you. Be great.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Michael. Thanks, everyone. And share.